All right, everybody, what's going on? G Funky Boxing of HCP back again with another video, and this is gonna be an interesting video here, man. I got a couple brothers here with me from the HCP Familia, Chicano Prophet and Nopal Baxianos. Say what's up, man. How you guys doing?
Man, I'm doing good, feeling good, ready to discuss this.
Hey, what's up? It's no
Nopal,
Paul.
how you?
Salute to everybody.
That's right, man. So let's just we're not gonna ease into nothing here tonight, man. We're gonna go all the way in on this because this has been an issue for a long time. Now, here's what I'm gonna say to you guys, nice and early, and I'm gonna keep repeating this as people come in. But here's the thing, man. All three of us here on this panel, we're all Mexicanos, all right? We're all Mexicans, okay? So we're gonna give our opinion on this topic, okay? You can like it or not, but I'm gonna ask you to respectfully let us talk about this topic, okay? You guys, I've already see somebody talking about it's a gimmick. Look, we don't want anybody coming here telling us how to feel about this, okay? Because this is our flag that was out there. This is our colors that was out there, not your guys's, okay? So I'm gonna ask you, if you're gonna come in here, you want to say your piece, be respectful, but don't try to tell us how to feel about this situation, okay? It's not your position to tell us, okay? We don't go to your guys' channels when you talk about, your nationality's issues. We don't go over there and try to tell you guys how to feel about things. Okay? We are gonna burn on this topic, and that's that, man. So, you guys ready?
I'm ready, man. Estoy listo, carnal.
I was born ready.
And just for you guys that don't know, these two right here, Nopal and Chicano Prophet, these guys are the Canelo cartel of HCP. All right, just putting it out there. Okay, these guys are coming. These guys are coming with some heat, so you guys better be ready out there. All right, they're coming with some heat. These guys are gonna be dropping videos soon, man. So, be watching. Anyway, here's what we're gonna do, man. We're gonna talk about this. Now, we're not going to touch on every single person or every single fighter that's ever tried to mock, or wear our colors, when they're not a Mexican, We're going to talk about just the big ones, Let's start with Roger Mayweather, okay? And R.I.P. to Roger Mayweather. He passed away a few years back. He was a great fighter, great trainer, had a great series of fights with, the great Julio Cesar Chavez. So, this is not to disrespect him at all, okay? But he's one of the first guys, to my recollection, to do something like this. He was fighting in the lower weight classes, which, there's a lot of Mexicans that fight in these lower weight classes, and that's where Roger Mayweather, campaigned for the majority of his career. So he got the label the Mexicutioner because he was beating a lot of our champions, and I get it. They gave the same thing to Manny Pacquiao when which is funny because he had already beat by a Mexican, but that's another story. We didn't like that shit either, especially because he had already been beat by a Mexican. I guess people forgot that Morales kicked his ass in the first fight, but again, I feel like this. Roger Mayweather, he did it. It was good for marketing, absolutely, because again, there was a lot of our guys that campaigned down on those weight classes. But does it rub people the wrong way? Absolutely, it does, man. It absolutely does. And I'm not speaking in generals like that. I'm not trying to paint with a broad brush here. I don't speak for every Mexican out there, every Mexican American, every Chicano, whatever you want to call it. Okay, I don't speak for all of us. I'm speaking for myself and for the boxing fans that I know that are Chicanos, that have witnessed this stuff, that have watched these fights, that have watched the fights with me. And I can tell you that a majority of them didn't like it. It rubbed them the wrong way. So again, Mayweather was the first guy. Roger Mayweather was the first guy that I remember to do it. We fast forward another 20 years later, and we see Floyd Mayweather, right? He's getting ready to fight Oscar De La Hoya. A lot of big hype, a lot of build up for that fight, a lot of trash talk from Mayweather. He was known for that at the time, you know. The fight comes and he's wearing, our colors. He's wearing a sombrero, and it rubbed people the wrong way. I'm just going to tell you like this, okay? I watched that fight. I was at a fight party at a close friend of mine's house. I was at a fight party, and when the camera was on him and he had the fit on, people got pissed. Now, not everybody in the house. I would say it was probably about an 80-20. 80% Mexicans, and then the 20 was like a mix of either like an Asian, African American, or Caucasian in the house. The majority of the Mexicans got mad, and it almost caused a fight. Almost caused a fight, man. And I'm telling you guys, like it's something that a lot of Mexicans, they don't like it. It leaves a bad taste in their mouth. They don't like it, They just don't. As far as last Saturday, all right? And this is and I want to make this clear too. This is not sour grapes, okay? Did I pick Leo Santa Cruz to win? You damn right I did. I put money on Leo. Okay? I was wrong. You can check my post-fight video. Okay? I gave all the credit in the world to Davis for the win. Okay? I didn't call it a cherry pick, none of that. He got 100% credit for me. So this is not sour grapes. This is not me bitching and complaining that he lost, okay? Not the case. I'm going to say this. As for Tank Davis doing it last Saturday night, I don't think that there was intent there to piss anybody off. And the reason why I'm going to say that is because the whole buildup of the fight, I didn't hear any kind of trash talk or disrespect towards Leo. These guys were very classy, very sportsmanlike through the buildup. Even the press conference, the final press conference before the weigh-in last week. The last press conference was very respectful. Both guys, very, very respectful. Both guys were like, hey, train my butt off and I'm here to win. You know what I'm saying? No trash talk. I mean, you seen Leo, gave all credit to Tank Davis, said, hey, he caught me good, knocked me out, all credit to him. And even Tank Davis sent out a tweet that night and said, look, man, I'm glad you're okay. I'm grateful that I shared the ring with you. A lot of mutual respect between both guys. So I'm going to say, I don't think that there was bad intentions with Tank Davis Saturday night. Have other guys done it? Like, Shakur Stevenson did it recently against Joet Gonzalez. I thought that was a little weird, especially with the whole story behind, with the families and stuff like that. Tyson Fury did it. And, that was stupid. HCP, we trashed him for that. Andrew Ruiz came out and spoke against that, So it's an issue, man. It's definitely an issue, and we're going to talk about it tonight. That's my position, and I'm going to pass the torch. I don't know which one of you guys want to go first, Nopal or Chicano, but you guys can go ahead and do your thing, man.
Go ahead, Nopal.
I guess I'll go first. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people don't seem to understand. I see people bringing up examples like Latinos can't listen to hip hop. I mean, that's not the same thing, dude. We're talking about our colors of our flag, our national symbols, like sombreros and all of that. These are symbols that we hold kind of sacred, in Mexican tradition. So it's not even the same thing. It's more equivalent. I wouldn't even know what to compare that to be honest. A lot of people are pretending too that, if a Mexican did it to African American, like they would actually let that slide. And we know that's not true because there's other things that that the African American community, smaller things, we know that they won't even let slide. And you guys, I think that the only way they'll understand is if it gets done to them. sadly, that's really kind of my stance on that. You know, they'll only understand, and a lot of them are pretending like it's okay. You know, and they're just basically. I think that they're just uh, pretending like it's okay to fit a narrative right now. That for marketing, just to build up Tank. I mean, dude, that's not a good enough excuse. You're telling me there's no other way that you guys could go about building up Tank. I mean, you gotta literally disrespect our colors and all that to do it. And the fact that he people get away with doing that, that's what's really messed up, But all right, I'll let you speak, Chicano.
Sure, man. Well, I agree with a lot of what you guys said, and the reason I think that it's good that we bring this up.
Chicano, I'm sorry, man. I just want to address something. I agree with you, Bam Bam Tweed, right here. I do not use that word. I live in Northern California, and there's always been a great relationship between the blacks and the browns here, man. I mean, it's great. There's no tension, nothing like that up here, and I do see that a lot, man. I'm one of those guys, I don't say it, man, because even though a lot of guys nowadays say it's okay for us to say it, I still don't use it. Just because I come from a different era. I was born in the 80s. I grew up early 90s. Like back then, even though I grew up with a lot of African Americans, even if I said it back then, like it would be a fight. They didn't like it. So if somebody doesn't like it, I'm going to just say, okay, you know what? I'm going to respect that. But I do hear what you're saying with that, man. That's something I don't like. I don't like it. Go ahead, Chicano.
Sure thing, man. Well, I just want to say, I do agree with a lot of what you guys said, actually all of it. And so some of the things that I want to add to it is with Tank, G-Funky, like you were mentioning, I don't think that it was his idea either. But it does have a history. If it comes from Floyd and it comes from Roger, we have to ask ourselves why he was told to put on that suit. I can tell you is that I was in a house with Mexicans. I went to a friend's house to watch it. There were about 6 of us. A lot of them were casual fans, 2 hardcore fans, myself and another one. And when he came out, they didn't like it immediately. It was left up to interpretation. When you watch the show, they don't really talk about his outfit until they get up into the ring. And when they get up in the ring, they kind of start, glossing it a little bit. But you could tell that it was just something that they perhaps were not expecting. Initially, when a Mexican gets their first impression, I can tell you that generally they don't like it. Like I said, I really don't blame Tank too much myself. I happen to like Tank Davis a lot. And so all I can say is that this is something that we need to talk about because there's the difference between when somebody's trying to pander to the Mexicans like Fury perhaps, or if he was told to do it by the WBC because it was Cinco de Mayo weekend, or if you're like the Manchester Mexican, or, your Triple G, like Mexican style, I got a Mexican coach. Like that's something different than when you're using it to fan racial flames. And if you're not clear about it, I think that Mexicans can take it the wrong way. And it's like you said, G-Funk, nobody could tell us how we're supposed to feel about it but Mexicans. Like we don't go around to other cultures or races and say, well, no, you guys, hey, this is just, you guys are being a little overly sensitive about it. And that's something that I've heard, like, oh, you guys are being sensitive about it. Like, it's not something that, we're bringing up just because we are sensitive. Like, we're asking if it's racist. Like, we've been dealing with this for a while. And if it continues on, like, honestly, I'm not going to be super upset about it. It's just something that's annoying and it's something that should be spoken about. So I do want to bring it to the forefront. And so there's a lot of times where, Mexicans online, in my opinion, get accused of racism on here. And there's some examples. And I wonder why it's okay for Tank to go in with like Mexican garb, but I've heard Mexicans getting accused. Like, for example, anybody who knows me knows I do not like Mikey Garcia. Okay. I don't like him. Right. But I'll tell you this, after the fight with Spence, when Mikey Garcia was asked, oh, is there anything that you're going to teach Spence? And he said, I'm going to teach him how to drive. Okay. Now I thought that was disgusting. And I thought it didn't have any place anywhere to be said, but I heard multiple channels on here telling us that it was a racist comment, but I never really said anything about it because it wasn't my place to interpret how it was interpreted. Right. But I didn't necessarily see anything inherently racist about that comment. It was very disgraceful and disgusting, but I didn't see it as racist, and people used that as an advantage to talk mess about Mexicans. And I didn't appreciate it, and another example is today. I even heard some examples today. This morning, I was going on YouTube, kind of making my rounds, and I learned about this whole new Glovegate theory with Tank. And I saw 2 channels saying that Mexican media was making this up because we're sore losers. It's like G-Funky said in the beginning, this is not a Sour Grapes video. I had an issue with this before Tank Davis decided to put this on. but I didn't see anybody like who was a Mexican who was posting this. I saw, and I'm just going to name them because I like them both and I've subscribed to both of them. I saw Punch Drunk entertain the idea, and he said, "I'm not saying that there was anything wrong with the gloves. My knowledge is that he's Puerto Rican." Jay Cotto, who I like too, he said something else and he did some research. Okay, so those are two instances where those are the only ones that I saw. But I did see African American channels accusing us of being sore losers, and then I did see an Asian girl ask the question to Tank Davis on Twitter. I didn't see anything additional, but for us to be painted as people who were like sore losers, that was kind of offensive. It's like you guys were jumping on us and accusing it of being racist. And I found that kind of to be upsetting. And that's why I wanted to come out and actually say something. And like I said, I'm not here to rage. But I think if we are Mexicans, we should kind of speak up and say something because it needs to at least be put on record for people. And those are my initial thoughts on it.
Yeah. And I want to address Reggie Owens here saying, I want to see you guys talk about Tyson Fury. Like, bro, we've already done that, bro. Like, I mean, I'm really kind of shocked that you would even ask that, bro. Like, I mean, you've done shows with us. We've trashed Fury for that. Like this is nothing new. I think you've been watching a lot of other channels, bro. Like, you should know how we get down, bro. You know what I'm saying? You should already know that. But the video's there. The video's there, and D-Style posted it in the link in the chat. So, I mean, look, this is nothing new for us, man. This is nothing new for us here. And like I said, we're not speaking for all Chicanos, Mexicanos, whatever you want to call us, Latinos. We're speaking our piece on how we feel about it and how the people that we know, like we've all talked about it. And just because other people are okay, well, look, that's fine. If somebody that's of a Mexican comes here in the chat or whatever and says, "Hey, look, I don't have an issue with it," I don't see the big deal. That's fine. They can feel that way, but I'm not here to tell people how to feel about it. I'm here to talk to you guys from our perspective. You know what I'm saying? D-Style in the house. What's up, bro?
Keep going. I'll wait my turn.
No, I'm done, bro.
Well, the last thing I want to say to the one last thing I just want to add, the Tyson Fury thing, those are two different things. Like I said, there's a difference between pandering to a crowd and stoking the racial tension flames. And we're not going to pretend like there's not two different things and it's one the same. Go ahead, D-Style.
What's going on, everybody? So, look, I've been saying this for years, man. Okay? I'm a really consistent dude. And I keep receipts. You know what I mean? So, I don't always use them, and it's fair. It's fair, if you want to ask, well, why didn't you say anything about with Fury? Go ask somebody else because I got it. I did say something when Fury dressed up as a Mexican and pandered and all that. I do have videos of the Japanese dude telling Vargas, "I'm more Mexican than you." I do have videos about that. I have videos about the whole Manchester Mexican thing with Ricky Hatton. I have video. I have. You know what I mean? So I have the receipts, but that's not here nor there, right? Well, what's important here is to not ignore the fact that this is a discussion that we as Mexicans have decided that it's going to be held. Like, you know what I mean? We're going to have the discussion. So, you cannot tell us how to feel. Like, you know what I mean? Just like I wouldn't tell anybody else if they feel that someone's kind of, and I'm not going to elaborate, but if I feel someone's mocking their culture, I'm not going to go to them and be like, "No, don't feel that way." You know what I mean? Like, that's not how it works. Look, was I mad or something when no, this is me talking. Okay. Do I feel angered or whatever because Tank dressed up like Floyd Mayweather did in 2007? No. I mean, I kind of see like the whole Mexican assassin thing. Roger did it, then Floyd did it, and then Tank did it. Like, you know what I mean? He's kind of passing it to his pupil or whatever. It's Halloween. Did he dress up as Floyd or not? I don't know. Right? By the way, I don't know what the fuck Floyd was wearing, but that's a different story. Okay, I'm kind of offended by what he wore, but that's not here nor there. He could dress up however he wants. But okay, and if anybody thinks I was easy on Fury, please go watch that video, and it still has a chat, by the way. All right, and look at the people in the chat agreeing 100% with what I'm saying, because those receipts stay there forever. All right. And I have the other ones with Kamita and all that, which look, I don't have an issue with Kamita, you know, living in Mexico, marrying a Mexican chick, and kind of adjusting to that culture. I don't have an issue with that. I had an issue with him, Town Vargas. I'm more Mexican than you, and stuff like he was kind of mocking him a little bit, and I didn't like that, right? But like Chicano said, we are talking about different things, right? Even the Triple G thing. You didn't fight me Mexican style. Well, what the fuck does that even mean, right? And then kind of doing the same thing with the sombreros and all that too. If I'm not mistaken, didn't Triple G wear a sombrero for one of those fights? Or it might
I
have been
think
with
so.
the other Mexican cat. But they even called the event Mexican style. Okay. Now,
Yeah.
granted, that's more pandering and stuff like that. And I saw a lot of videos people talking about, and I have those receipts too about how they were kind of using the Mexicans and stuff like that or whatever. But let's place that aside. Okay. Look, I'm not gonna lose sleep at night because Tank Davis wore a sombrero and all that. But I will say this, okay? The Mexican flag is sacred to Mexicans, okay? The meaning of the eagle means something to us, okay? As a people, not as a country, as a people, it means something to us, okay? El Tri, okay? That means something to us. And if you don't know what that means, that's just because you don't know as much about our flag than we do. That's all that means. And that's okay, all right? So I don't think it's being done intentionally. I don't think Tank sat down with Floyd and let's do this. Like, you know what I mean? That's not what it is. But what it does mean is that when Mexican people are telling you, and it's again not all Mexican people, but when we're telling you how we feel about it, you do have to listen. You know what I mean? Like you really do. And you do have to think for a second, what if the shoe was in the other foot? How would I feel about it? And we have to draw a real parallel. This isn't like going out to a hip hop song, right? That's not. If Tank would have just came out to mariachi music and just wore a regular robe, I don't think we have this discussion. All right, maybe, but the issue is the garb, right? The traditional garb, like that's the sombrero. Like it's a symbol of Mexican culture, right? That's our culture. It's not a Halloween costume to us. You know what I mean? So you need to that's just something you need to understand. I'm not saying you have to agree. You could have your opinions and all that, but you need to understand that. All right. If the shoe was in the other foot, if Canelo dressed up in African garb or something, right, and was walking out to like African music or something, I just don't think that would be tolerated. I don't think people would sit down and say, yeah, totally, I'm totally okay with that. Maybe some would, but some wouldn't. And you know what? If someone came out that holds that culture dearly, I'm not going to lecture them and tell them, well, why didn't you talk about it when this guy did it or that guy did it? Okay, why are you only talking about it now? I would just listen to what they have to say because that's the fair thing to do. That is all. Okay, so that's my feeling about it. But I still, however, when I speak about boxing history, I speak it in a matter of fact type of way. I don't, I just tell the stories. And yes, Roger Mayweather was known as a Mexican assassin, to be specific, and he did get knocked out by Chavez, and that was a big deal. And he did play the heel and all that good stuff. And in the words of Roger Mayweather, that's the one motherfucker I couldn't beat. So there you go.
Yeah, I agree. And I think, again, you guys aren't really understanding what we're saying here. Okay. And some of the comments I'm reading here, just, wow. Just, I mean, that's all I can really say, I mean, I think you guys, you ignore a lot of the things that go on other people's channels in the chats. I mean, you're saying that we disrespect black fighters all the time. I mean, my God, I've been on platforms.
I don't know what channels. I mean, HCP, we give nothing but credit to black fighters all the time.
Yeah,
all the time,
all the time. I gave Tank credit for the win. Look at my last video. Look at my post-fight video. I never said it was a lucky punch. I never said, oh, he cherry picked or nothing like that. Tank got full 100% credit from me for the win. So again, I mean, you guys are coming at us. You're coming at the wrong people, man. You're coming at
Right.
the wrong people. Okay, go ahead, Chicano.
And my thing
In
too is like,
fact, I'd like to add that if it,
go ahead, no, Paul. Okay. Well, I just wanted to say, one of those things, like if it is like a situation
go
where,
ahead, bro.
like I'm reading Reggie Owens' comment here. So on the flip, Mexican fighters and fans disrespect the hell out of black fighters. So there is a difference between disrespect and stoking racial tension. And if Mexicans have said stuff that is racist, that's something that I would agree with. If something was racist, I would say, yes, that's racist. It's racist on both sides. The one thing doesn't make another thing okay. So we can bash each other's fighters and we can also root for our own fighters. There's never been anything wrong with that. Talking some mess about a particular fighter is fine. Talking about it racially or stoking the racial flames are different things. And so that's just what I wanted to say on that one. As far as like Bam Bam Tweed's comment, it says, it's okay for the white guys, but not for us. How do you know we're not trying to show respect? Like I said, it's up to how we interpret it. All I can tell you is that, we have stories already. We have 2 stories where you see groups of Mexicans not taking it very well when a fighter who comes in who's fighting a Mexican is wearing the sombrero and Mexican flag garb. They just don't. And we know that historically, when it's been used through that line of Tank to Mayweather, Mayweather Sr., that was the reason it was done. So, I mean, we just got to be clear about what we're talking about here. Go ahead, you guys.
No, Paul. I think you wanted to roll, man. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to say one quick thing about about how we disrespect black fighters. I mean, maybe Reggie means that maybe sometimes we tend to criticize them, but if you only pay attention to how we criticize or how badly we criticize our own fighters, I mean, that would basically alleviate everything. I mean, from Canelo to Andy Reid to Mikey Garcia. I mean, we got something for all of these guys, that don't meet our standards. And, that's really all you have to pay attention to. If we can criticize our own fighters, that means, we got a little something for everybody. And it's never racial. It's strictly boxing.
Yeah. I mean, you guys know. I mean, I've criticized Canelo, who's the biggest Mexican star out there. I mean, Chicano put me on the hot seat. You know what I'm saying? He put me on the hot seat to question me. So I mean, yeah, we criticize our fighters too. We don't just have it in for other people's fighters, man. That's just.
Can I just say this?
Go
Bam
ahead.
Bam, I don't think anyone is accusing anyone of anything. I think all that's being done is a conversation. It's just needed. That's all. You know what I mean? Like both sides need to hear each other out. It can't be a one-sided thing. Like, you know what I mean? You like both sides need to talk. Okay, like that. That's just how I feel about it. Okay, so I told you like I clearly said, and I said I'm speaking for myself, right? I can't speak for anybody else. That I said I didn't think it was that big of a deal, right? But I understand, okay, because I don't feel Tank did it out of disrespect. And I have several ways I can kind of show that because he was really respectful towards Leo in the lead up to the fight, and he was even more respectful after the fight. Okay, and he even had his oh no, Leo's dad's the real MVP moment and everything, right? You know what I mean? So like he wouldn't have done all that like if he had this hatred and for Leo or our people. I just don't think that's what it is, right? But sometimes people confuse the intent with how it can be interpreted, right? And if the discussion isn't held, all you have is a situation where a bunch of people are just presupposing or assuming, right? And eventually, it can get uglier, or it could get ugly. This shouldn't get ugly at all. This is just expression and conversation. That's all this is. I mean, you got to understand the conversation was open. And one of the first comments I saw, why didn't you say anything about when Tyson Fury did it? Well, we already know that started off the wrong foot, but, that's okay because I have the proof. I did talk about it. I do have the video, right? And anyone who doesn't understand, if you don't understand that D-style boxing, okay, is a consistent motherfucker, by now, I don't know what to tell you, okay? But I'm just speaking for me now. if another Mexican did feel offended by it, that's how they felt. You know what I mean? Because it's they just interpreted it that way. Maybe to them, they did feel like Tank had some malice into it, or they wanted to be a heel, or whatever the case is. That's how they feel. The conversation has to be held, right? Well, one of the biggest issues with society right now is that people don't want to have conversations about things.
Right.
So there's nothing wrong with having a conversation. There's nothing wrong with asking questions, right? You may not like the answer, but at the very least, we could try to answer those questions. So what I want to make clear is I'm not accusing, anyone, including Bam Bam Tweed or anybody, of having, attacking or accusing us of anything, right? We're just speaking our minds. That is, that's, and when I speak, I'm only speaking from my perspective. I cannot speak for anybody else either. You know what I mean? So, like you're listening to four different. They may be very similar, but still very different in some ways. Four different perspectives, from four dudes from Mexican descent. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, all we're asking you guys to do is just look. We're here again. We're having a conversation about it, and I'm subscribed to a lot of guys who are of African American descent. And, I see them making videos all the times where they speak about issues in their communities, and what I do, I respectfully stay silent. I watch the video, I listen, but I don't give my opinion. I don't say anything because you know what? This is your guys' thing, I feel the same should be done here. Like, again, we're not being disrespectful towards Tank or anything like that. And I said it, I don't know if a few of you guys come in late, but early in the video, at the beginning, I said, I don't think Tank did it out of being disrespectful because, like D-Style said, I felt the same way after watching the final press conference, that Tank was very respectful and Leo was very respectful. They were respectful to each other, even after the fight, even after the vicious knockout, Tank went to Twitter and said, I hope Leo, I'm glad you're okay. I'm glad you're good. Leo didn't say anything negative about Tank. He said, look, man, he caught me good, knocked me out. I'm glad I'm here to be able to spend time with my wife and kids after the fight. Like it's just something, again, the thing is when we see people wearing our colors like that, and again, if people want to say, like, and I've seen this on Twitter, people saying, oh, Tanky just wore a costume of Floyd Mayweather, like, and I agree with what D-Style said. Our culture is not a costume, man. I'm sorry. It's just not. And we don't like that.
And I got to tell you, I have a post. It's an old post, but it's still up. Okay. And it says, this is not a style. This is our culture. You know what I mean? And look, we don't even have an issue with people embracing our culture. Really? You know what I mean? You want to go to a Mexican restaurant and listen to Mexican music and all that good stuff. And you could get mariachis to your house, whatever it is. But that's not even the issue. The issue is about interpretation and how do people see things, and having that conversation, because the conversation is really, really important, right? At the end of the day, we can't, like, you know what I mean? Like we can't just be in the state of like, okay, let's just not say anything about it. And let's just pretend like it's all good. It's all good. Well, it's not 100% all good. Okay. I again, and I'll repeat it. I don't think Tank had any malice intent or anything like that. Okay, I don't. But I could see why someone can interpret it that way. Personally. And
Yeah.
I do agree with what Reggie said. Like, find somebody else's flag. Like, and I just got to say this. Mexican fighters we don't dress up like other cultures. We don't do that. You know what I mean? I never seen, maybe I'm wrong, but I never seen a Mexican fighter, dress up as another culture, something like that. I haven't seen it. Okay. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But, hey, I'm not losing any sleep over it, but it's a good conversation to have, man. And I respect anybody who gives their opinion. I'm all about freedom of speech. So that's where I stand with it.
Absolutely, man. I'm the same way. I'm not sensitive. I know we're living in a time where, you can say one thing and it could be twisted and turned in all kind of situations, and next thing you know, you're labeled something for the rest of your life. You know, like I'm not that type of dude. You know, I'm not very emotional. I have very thick skin. You know, you can say a lot of things to me. There's a few things that I won't take. But you can say a lot of things to me. You know, and I'm just not that sensitive of a guy. But again, it leaves a bad taste in our people's mouth. It does, man. And you know,
Like I don't even know if Fury did this on purpose, but like when he had our fucking crest on his ass and shit,
mhm.
was it on his ass or like I think it was right? Like I just saw like,
I don't remember.
what's going on over here now?
Nah, you
Yeah,
don't.
go ahead.
Go ahead, no Paul.
Not. Nah, I just wanted to say, man, that was a joke. How Fury had on the blanket, but again, it was really the WBC that gave him the permission, or that probably even told him to do that. I'm surprised they didn't provide like a more authentic poncho or something like that. But I was like, God damn, man, that's a disgrace for somebody to be wearing that type of like a velour blanket, man. Come on. Like I wasn't okay with it, and neither was. I mean, I don't know anybody that was okay with that. I mean,
Oh,
there's other examples too. I mean, I hated that whole Triple G thing. I know you guys hated it too. The Mexicans for Triple G and all that. I mean, but guess what? We got a
speak
lot of
on
Yo
it.
Tomases in our culture that don't see anything wrong with that. Triple
Speak
G.
on it,
I
bro.
mean, Mexicans for Triple G. But what can I do about it? All I could do is speak my mind, and that's it, man. But of course, that kind of shit makes us mad, you know?
Yeah, I mean, if you want to keep going on that, I know you, I know you got a lot of stuff to say on that, man. So if you want to keep going, go ahead, man.
Nah, I mean, it's that simple. I mean, every single time somebody tries to pull that kind of shit, I'm surprised that they allow this type of shit. I mean, when it comes to anybody else, I mean, it ain't okay. You won't even get through the front door with some shit like that. I just don't understand how. And then what I really, like I said, I want to repeat this. I don't understand how somebody could say that, oh, it was a marketing ploy. Like, come on, man, get the fuck out of here. That makes it okay because somebody put some money in their pocket. Like, no way, man.
Like
That's
here's what I'll
that's all I
say.
got
Like
for right now.
I think it's fair to say that Tank's gonna be a star whether he wears that sombrero or not. Right? Can we all agree with that? Like I don't think he needs that personally. Like people are that does not even like when you have Magic Johnson retweeting your knockout, okay, and from the Des Bryant, so all these NFL stars and NBA stars and former and current athletes, like all talking about Tank Davis. When Tank Davis is number one in trending over Halloween on Halloween, right? That tells you that people enjoy this guy for what he does in the ring. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
you don't need to put on the Mexican sombreros and all that to sell. You know, I just that's my opinion. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, it's a free country. He's gonna do whatever he wants. You know what I mean? We can't stop him from doing it. You
no,
know,
we can't. No,
but what we can do is the following, right? We can tell you how we feel about it. That's what we can do. And you know, if the argument now is no, well, I think it was out of respect, let's say, right? And maybe he did 100% mean it as a sign of respect, right? I don't know, but let's say he did. Okay, I'm not in his mind, and I don't think he's spoken about it. But if that's how he meant it, okay. But now we're telling you how we feel about it, right? So now that you know how we feel about it, there's no assuming here, right? So now we'll know for next time. You know what I mean? Like that's just my take on it, man. But yeah, I think somebody brought up Casa Mayor did it for the Juan Manuel Marquez fight. You know what I mean? He's like they're not the only fighters who have done it. Okay.
yeah. There's been a lot. I only brought up the major ones. Like I brought
Right,
up.
right.
Uh,
But here's what I wanted to say. So at the end of the day, um, I'm not gonna like lose sleep over it or anything, But we're just telling you how we feel about it. That's all. From different perspectives. Like we got 4 different perspectives here.
yep,
Right.
Chicano, go ahead, bro.
Well, yeah, I just wanted to read Reggie's comment. It addressed me back, and he was saying, as far as Mexicans being racist, that they do it all the time on the same level as whites. We address it. Mexican fan bases are silent when they're in the presence of Mexicans being racist. Black fans are in on it now. So, all I can do is really speak for HCP. Like I have a handful of channels that I listen to. I listen to, our Mexican channels. Love the LDBC. We've always been cool with the LDBC. Like I actually listen to a lot of you guys that just don't comment. But I appreciate your channel, Reggie. I appreciate a lot of channels out there. So I can't really speak for other Mexicans that you might be referring to. I do think that there are a small amount of Mexicans demographically, as far as like, how the fan base works out on YouTube. But you guys say that you do address it. So when you do address it, that's what we're doing. We're addressing racism that we see, or potential things that are stoking racial flames. So that's where I'm coming from. Like I said, like I'm not going to necessarily lose some sleep over it either. But it is something that I think that we should be able to have a conversation about. And, as far as like black fans being in on Mexicans being quiet, like I hope, if there was any examples that you would have of us saying some stuff that you could bring it to our attention. I love black fighters. And like I said, there's nothing wrong with the black guy rooting for the black guy and the Mexicans rooting for the Mexicans. Nothing wrong with bashing the other guy as long as it's not racist. And I think those are two different things, man. So I just wanted to kind of clarify that and just let you know how we were feeling. That's all I got for right now.
Yep, I agree, man. And again, I'm not losing sleep over this because, like I said, I don't think Tank did it with malicious intent. I do think Floyd did it with malicious intent, obviously to get people riled up about the fight and to sell it. And I mean, it worked. I mean, he trashed Oscar all through the hype of the fight, all through the touring around country to promote the fight. And then when the fight comes, he comes out in our colors and our attire. So, yeah, it pissed people off.
And here's the thing, right? If like if you're doing it to be a villain, then don't complain when you get booed.
Yeah,
right?
You can't.
Like you can't play the heel role. Like, oh, it's gonna be great, and because I believe in direct, and I've done videos about this, but way in the past. But there's direct entertainment, indirect entertainment. And I don't want to kind of dive into that, but like I get the whole playing the bad guy, and all that good stuff, right? But then you can't complain about getting booed. You know what I mean? You can't get mad if the people want you to get knocked out, like or to lose. If you're gonna do that, right? Now, if you mean it out of respect, I mean, at the end of the day, I'm sure there's other ways, to show respect. You know what I mean? Like if I wanted to show respect to the African American community and I was a fighter, I'd probably get like a big name rapper. I'll ask Nas to walk me out to the ring or something like that. You know what I mean? Like there's many ways to show respect to a culture, right? All I'm saying, right, with all due respect to everybody, wearing the sombrero and all that is not showing respect. Like it may be intended that way, right? And if it is, then it's appreciated. But at the end of the day, it's not coming off that way. You know what I mean? And again, that's just me speaking for myself, right? So that's all I got to say.
Yeah, that was kind of the funny thing about Floyd. I remember, a lot of his fans that I knew back then, and I think he might have talked about it himself about how he gets a lot of hate and things like that. But like you said, D-Style, if this is the role that you're going to take to become the bad guy, then you can't get mad when people boo you. I mean, you don't see the wrestlers that are heels in professional wrestling cry because they're getting booed. Like that's their job. They're supposed to rile up the fans. And if Floyd wants to rile up the fans to hate him, to get them to buy the pay-per-views, then be a man and take it. You have to. You just have to. And here's the thing. Any other time this happens to any other culture, it bothered me too. Like one example is this. Back in the beginning of this century, when Hopkins fought Tito Trinidad, and he took the Puerto Rican flag and threw it on the ground. I mean, my God. I mean, wow. You know what I'm saying?
Let me put it this way, right? If I was if somebody grabbed the Mexican flag and just threw it in the ground, right, like a fighter, and I'm a spectator, right? Like, I'm not gonna be one of those dudes that's gonna run after the fighter, like the mob and stuff. But I'm gonna shake my head. I'm gonna say, well, that's not classy. You know what I mean? I'm probably not gonna like that guy anymore. You know what I mean? But
Hmm.
I can't stop everybody else from running after him. You know, like when Hopkins did it, that was crazy. Okay, but to Hopkins' credit, he did apologize immediately
Yeah, he
after the
did
fight.
after. Yeah.
Okay, he did say, you know, he was just kind of messing with Tito's head and all that. Okay, but you know, that was a little bit different. You know, for sure. Um, but because that one was meant to be disrespectful, like clearly, you know,
Yes.
to mess with Tito's head, right? And Hopkins knew, hey, I'm the villain going. I don't give a shit. Like, you know what I mean? So that's a little different, but in my opinion, anyway, I'm speaking for myself.
Yeah,
Um,
and I think with Hopkins, I really think it was a mistake on his part because Tito was Puerto Rico. Tito was Puerto Rico at the time. There was nobody on his level, not even close, coming out of Puerto Rico. So I feel like doing that was just going way too far, in my opinion. The Puerto Ricans, they were going to buy that pay per view. They were going to buy the tickets at Madison Square Garden, regardless if he went out there and made himself the villain. Like, he didn't have to do that. That's why I think it rubbed a lot of people the wrong way, and myself. Like, as I said, I was thinking that in my head, like, why would you even do that? Like, the level of disrespect to take someone's flag, throw it on the ground like that, especially the guy he is the biggest star out of Puerto Rico. Like, there's you don't need to do that to get those people amped up for they're gonna buy the pay-per-view anyway. That
no,
place is
he,
gonna be
he, he wa-
sold
he
out.
was he was messing with Tito's what he was doing. He was fucking with his head.
That's
He wanted to get
man.
him so tense, so amped up for that fight. I don't think he had to anyway, but
Yeah.
that's Hopkins' style. I mean, it's what he does. I mean, let me just say this real quick. Hopkins will be the first one to tell you he wasn't in the game to be to be liked and all that. He was just in it to be great. You know what I mean? He wasn't trying to become anybody's friend. Okay,
Yeah.
but
We
he
got
took that. Like, he understood that. Okay, but I just don't think that's what Tank was doing.
no,
I
Tank
don't
was
think
not doing
Tank was
that.
like, oh man, fuck yeah, I'm gonna piss these guys out. I don't think that's what it was at all. Um, but I can't tell anybody else how to feel about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I would, again, if one of our guys did that to somebody else's culture, like, it would be addressed here straight up, you know? A-Rod, welcome to the show, man. How you doing,
Ah,
bro?
cabrón.
You're on mute, bro.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Can you hear me? Can, ¿Quién es la raza? Saludos a toda la raza de todo el mundo. And I'm speaking black for everybody. Everybody gets level around here. And I want to address to everybody that most Mexicans are not going to be doing that to black people because once we're on a big stage, we want to represent our culture. You know what I mean? And bring out the banda, bring out the mariachi, and let them know who's in the house. You know what I mean? Like, we ain't gonna do that in turn because then it would be mocking or I mean, what do they call it? Biting and trying to be like them. You know what I mean? And we'll still get shit from our own people for it. You know what I mean? Oh, now you want to be black. You know what I mean? And we do get shit over backing up LDBC on these channels. On these styles channel, there's a couple guys that jumped on the stream and cussed them out. You know what I mean? Oh, you run with the LDBC and blah blah. You know what I mean? But we got all love for everybody around here, and if something rubs us off in the wrong way, of course we're gonna speak on it. You know what I mean? And we don't mean any disrespect back. Okay, no? What do you guys think?
Simone. No, I agree, man. This is this was our culture that was put out there like that. So we're gonna speak on it. Whether you like it or not, whether you disagree or agree, whatever. All I'm
Let me
asking you
put
to
it
do
this
is
way.
this. Let us discuss it. Because this is our thing.
Let me
Go
put
ahead,
it this way.
Dismal.
If I say or do something, right? Even if I had no malice or bad intent, but let's say I say or do something on one of my shows, and maybe you could say, hey, that came off the wrong way or whatever it is about anybody's culture, right? And they came to me and said, hey, man, I think, and I'm talking about someone genuinely feeling, you know what, man, that could come off a certain way. I would, at the very least, listen. You know what I mean? So like that's all. I would just listen to what that person has to say and be like, you know what, okay. And if it was my bad, I would say, you know what, like even if I'm not sorry, even if it's just like hey man, I hear you, man. I'm not gonna say something like that again or something like that. You know what I mean? Because you don't
Yeah.
necessarily. Look. Let me make one thing clear. I am not asking for Tank Davis to come out and give an apology, or I don't really think he owes an apology or anything like that. I'm not even talking in those levels at all, right? I just want to put that out there, right? I'm not even telling if Tank Davis does it again. There's literally nothing I could do about it. It's a free country, and he could do what he wants. Okay, but all I'm gonna say is, if there's booing, if they're booing him or whatever like that, then you know what it is. Like that, like it's not that like serious, but at least take notice of what it is. You know what I mean? At the end of the day.
Absolutely.
And
Black and brown.
there's always
my
men.
brother.
What's going on with my people?
Oh shit.
How you doing, bro?
What's up, man?
What's
What's
going
up, Black
on?
and Brown?
What's up, man? What's going on, everybody? Yeah, man, I hear you guys talking. Everybody's making really good points, and I don't think anybody's wrong, because everybody's entitled to their opinion, and everybody feels a different way about situations. And some people feel really close to their culture, and they have a lot of pride in their culture. And some people, might not have so much pride or don't take it so serious. So I don't think there's a wrong answer in the book, man. No, however you feel about it, it's your right to feel that way. As far as the way I feel, I'm like torn. Yeah, I don't like to see it, but it doesn't bother me too much, because I just say, hey, he's mocking you. Go knock him out now. You know what I mean? And if you can't knock him out, well, then, oh, well, maybe the next Mexican will. I don't really feel disrespected by it. For one, I don't think it was Tank's idea. I think it's more Floyd's idea. So, and then at the end, it's all sport. It's all competition, and sports is made to have fun, So I try to find the fun in it. When I seen him walk out in the sombrero, what's the first thing I do? I start laughing. Oh, Leo, you better knock this motherfucker out. He's disrespecting you. So there's different ways you can look at it. And in my opinion, there's no wrong answer. You're entitled to feel the way you feel about it.
Look, let me put it this way, guys. And I remember my grandpa told me the story. It's like, I never got as excited for a win for Chavez like when he knocked out Roger Mayweather. Okay? And he even, man, I'm kind of glad he did that shit, because when Chavez finally got him, like, man, was that a great moment. And then he made him quit in the rematch. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And if I'm not mistaken, he did it again in the rematch. He came out again with a sombrero. And I don't even know. I've never heard an interview of Chavez talking about that, to be honest with you. So I don't even know. If it's out there, somebody give me the. I never heard Chavez talk about that. You know what I mean? I just think Chavez went in there and just handled business. He was. I don't think he went in there with emotion outside of maybe the Hogan fight, and the second De La Hoya fight. But at the end of the day, man, like, I kind of feel like Black and Brown feels. Like, I'm not like, oh my God, this is offensive. You know what I mean? Or I'm not offended. But it is like, I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh yeah, I totally love it when someone comes out like that with sombrero and a poncho and shit, or whatever it is, right? I don't get excited about that whatsoever. I don't like it when Triple G did it. I don't like it when Tyson Fury did it. And I don't like it when Tank did it. I understand they did it for different reasons. I'm not asking for apologies. I'm not asking for any of that. All I'm saying is that if you feel like you can't tell us, like, hey, man, it means that's playing homage. You know what it feels like to me? It kind of feels like when people are telling the Native Americans to shut up about the Redskins thing. You know what I mean? And the Indians logo. Oh, what do you mean? The Redskin name is playing homage to you. And the Native Americans trying to explain, like, nah, dude, like, I don't feel like you're playing homage to me at all. Nah, but we are. Like, what I mean? That's kind of how I feel about it.
Yeah,
because it resonated with me when people said, hey, what would you do? There was a team called the Brownskins, right? And had like a Mexican in the helmet or some shit. Bro, like, yeah, I would totally be like, what the fuck is this? I would. Okay, I'm not saying this was at that level. I'm just kind of giving that example. That's all.
They could put that Patillo guy on him.
Oh, jeez.
You know, one thing that I wanted to say to kind of like jump on what D Style and Black and Brown were saying, like I agree. You know, sometimes it does kind of leave to a satisfying win when a Mexican does knock out the black guy who's kind of wearing that. You know, so I mean, maybe you could say that it helps kind of make a fight exciting. But to me, when I see people like Shakur Stevenson do it and Tank do it this time, to me, it felt slightly cheap. I mean, we're talking about a guy who was a negative 700 favorite going up against Leo Santa Cruz. I know G Funky picked him. But to me, it's like, well, that wasn't like a fight where, it was even or even close odds like that. You were supposed to win that fight. Like, to me, it doesn't feel like it was earned. That's something else I wanted to add to that part. It felt cheap.
Mayweather was in the A side on the De La Hoya fight. That's why he came out like that, right?
Yeah, he was. De La Hoya was the clear A side then. And for some guys that are joining that didn't join us earlier, we understand. We know why Roger Mayweather did it back in the 80s. We know why Floyd did it to Oscar. It was to antagonize us. It was, Do I think Tank was? I still don't think Tank did it that way because he did not disrespect Leo in any way leading up to the fight or even after the fight.
Hey, can I jump in really quick? They do it to antagonize us, but honestly, it works because they know how passionate we are. So they either know that we're either going to fall in love with the kid if he wears the Mexican flag or we're going to hate him for it. But either way, we're going to tune in either to watch him win or to watch him get knocked out. So I think they know what they're doing. They antagonize us to get our attention and to keep us tuned in because they know how much pride we have in that flag.
But let me ask you this, Black and Brown. Do you think Tank did it to antagonize, or do you think the idea was given to him by Mayweather to do it? Because I 100%
Mayweather.
Even thought about it that much. Like,
I
think
it's
put it on, but I don't think
No, I got 100%
pre-fight
Mayweather.
and post-fight. The way he talked about it, I just don't think he meant disrespect personally. But
no, I think it's 100% Mayweather to troll the fans. At the end of the day, it's to troll the fans. I don't think it has nothing to do with Leo Santa Cruz himself. I think he's just trolling the Mexican fans to try to get the Mexican fan base riled up. Either one way or another, he's going to get them riled up. And he did. We're talking about it today all across YouTube.
Yeah, because if we look at it, Mayweather made money off of us wanting to see him get knocked out, and he always fought Mexicans. I mean,
and I want to address this real quick from Ty Archie. Look, you've got 4 guys here that are from Northern California. One guy that was born here that doesn't live here anymore. So almost this whole panel is from Northern California. We understand that. You don't need to explain that to us, bro. I don't know if you knew that coming in or not, but you definitely don't need to explain that to us. Matter of fact, Black and Brown and I, we're from
Baltimore.
Who's that? Tank? Oh, yeah, Tank, yeah. Yeah. Matter of fact, Black and Brown and I, we're from the same city. So, like we get it. Up here in Northern California, there's literally zero tension between the Black and Brown here. Zero. I mean, are there one-offs? Absolutely. But I'm telling you, for the majority, and I mean the big majority of the time, it's all love here, man.
Yeah, and that's why I wanted to jump on just to give my opinion really quick, because for me, it's all fun and games. Like, let's do it. Like, okay, you're gonna antagonize us. Well, then let's do it. Come on, Leo. You gotta do your thing, Leo. You see what he's doing. So for me, it's just all fun and games. It's the love of the sport. But if you take it as disrespect, as you as a boxing fan, if you take it as disrespect, then maybe you shouldn't support Tank Davis no more. And you wouldn't be wrong for doing that. If you say, you know what, I don't like that he does that shit, I'm not supporting that no more. Hey, then that's your opinion, and you have the right to do that. Like I said in the beginning, there's not a wrong way, there's not a wrong answer. So it is what it is. I want it, like Chicano Prophet just said, he was 100% correct. Go do that shit against Miguel Berchelt or Jojo Diaz or Ryan Garcia. Go do that shit against one of these real killers so you can earn that shit, like Chicano said.
That will be interesting to see. Anybody else want to say anything?
Man, I think it was an important conversation. And if we're honest, I mean, something that was that people wanted to talk about. You know what I mean? And also, I think maybe surprise some people. Like, whoa, this is a thing? Yes, it is. You know what I mean? Like, the greatest thing in life is to learn something new, right? Like that's your goal in life should be like, man, every day I need to learn something new, right? Well, congratulations for whoever's surprised and didn't know this was a thing. Well, you learned something new today. So there you go.
Really
Absolutely.
quick, let me say one more thing. I named my channel Black and Brown because I love the unity in the sport. And as long as there's no disrespect, we can have a friendly rivalry. That's what it is. I don't like when we start disrespecting each other's culture. We disrespect each other's race. We disrespect each other's fighters. That's the part I don't like. And that's why I named my channel Black and Brown. And when things like this happen, I don't take it as disrespect. It's just part of the sport. It adds to the fun of the sport. And let's compete. But it doesn't have to be at a disrespectful level. It doesn't have to be Mexicans versus blacks. It's just, hey, it's a friendly rivalry, and that's what it is.
Yeah.
Maybe not so friendly. Maybe not so friendly.
Yeah. Well, I mean, no, I mean, look, the thing is this, a lot of people see it that way. A lot of people don't, you know, and that's why we're kind of having the conversation here. We want to just give our perspective on it. Chicano, did you want to roll, man?
Well, yeah, I really agree with what Black and Brown just said. And then the last thing I want to say is, earlier we were kind of discussing, well, what is this racist? And then we got kind of sucked into, well, what is, where's the racism on YouTube we see towards Mexican fighters and towards black fighters? And I just want to say that, what we do online is different than what boxers do. Those are two separate things. And then also I think that, matching tit for tat is a losing proposition. So to go, oh, well, we hear it from you guys, so we're gonna do the same thing. Like, that's a losing proposition for everybody, man. I love black fighters. I love the black channels on here. Yeah, I think we should all have a friendly rivalry. Like I said, when we root for the Mexicans, it's fine. When you guys root for the black guys, it's fine. So I'm glad we're having this conversation. And so thanks for having me on, G Funky.
No problem. Anytime, man. Nopal, you still there, bro?
No, I just wanted to I just wanted to give thanks to all you guys and the chat, everybody for being respectful, and for giving you guys this input. And I just wanted to thank you personally, you G Funk, for putting this together, and D Style, thanks for doing the HCP thing.
That's right, man. HCP is the home of real boxing talk. We don't duck and dodge issues. We don't do none of that here, man. We speak on real topics here, man, and we give our opinion, and we allow other people to give their opinion. Are there going to be like? I'll save it for the end. A-Rod, go ahead, bro.
I'm glad we had this kind of topic too, because it's been going around YouTube for a while from Mexican side and black.
Absolutely. What an exit. But I appreciate you coming on, A-Rod. But I want to say this, man. Look, here on HCP, we keep it right down the middle. We keep it consistent. And that's why, we stick to boxing, and is there going to be one-offs on one side or the other? Absolutely. But that's the minority, and there's always going to be that on both sides, man. So it's not one side, it's not the other. It happens on both sides, these one-offs, So, we're going to speak our mind, because on here, guess what? We're not afraid to tackle the tough topics here, man. We're not. So I want to thank all you guys who were here, and people in the chat getting in their feelings, whatever. That's fine. That's on them. I'm not gonna even address some of the things that I've seen out there. We're just gonna do what we do, and that's keep it boxing here and keep pushing this HCP thing, man, because we taking over, baby.
Who's down with HCP?
Yeah,
You know me.
Everybody.
that's right.
Sorry,
baby.
I jumped off, hit the wrong button.
It's all good, man. We're getting ready to cut this thing right now anyway. Thank you guys for joining. Make sure you hit the like button on the way out if you haven't. And we'll see you on the next one, man. HCP Uncensored will be Wednesday right here on this channel. Tomorrow we are going live HCP on D-Styles channel. So make sure you guys are there, man. We are out. Have a good one, guys.